Well, a perfect storm is brewing ahead of and no doubt in the aftermath of Tesla's Q1 earnings results, and I continue to pray to the flying spaghetti monster for a juicy and prolonged discount as I'm still buying with every spare cent. And future Stephen, a decade plus from now, is no doubt going to look back to present and or past Stephen and say, thanks brother, you did me a solid. So before we get to the earnings and jumping the gun a little bit with some of the questions that investors want answered, I'll do my best to answer them before Tesla does. I saw this and have some thoughts. But optimism around FSD and Musk's belief that this new approach could bring about robotaxis is clouding the future of Tesla's $25,000 car project. People with knowledge of Tesla's plans disputed the notion that the program has been cancelled altogether. And remember, Musk himself also disputed this fake news. All along, the company has been pursuing a low-cost vehicle architecture that will underpin several different types of models, one of which would have no steering wheel or pedals. No shit. Sherlock, as I've said, as many others have said, Tesla's next generation vehicle platform, their modular manufacturing system, ain't just going to be for one vehicle. Obviously, their dedicated Robotaxi will be built on this platform, and obviously there will be other variations as well, likely a compact SUV, likely a compact sedan, possibly more. I've said this many times in the past, there's likely to be a handful of variations on this platform. The point here is to produce a vehicle that the masses can afford in every major category. But here's where things get interesting. While these people confirm the Robotaxi is being prioritised, which, by the way, folks, hello, just think about this for a moment. I don't want to be too obnoxious, but let's use our brains for a moment here. If Tesla, the company, is known to currently be prioritising their Robotaxi, and this is all happening on the back of a huge rewrite, FSD V12 and the future iterations, no more heuristics, trained purely on end-to-end video, and we're seeing its capabilities and seeing that they've matched and in many cases exceeded the past build without any of the rigid rules and explicit instructions about what this is. If this is all happening, it is an extremely strong signal that Tesla themselves believe that they are finally on the cusp of solving autonomy, which unlocks a decatrillion-dollar opportunity. I cannot stress this point enough. If Tesla wasn't confident, they wouldn't be prioritizing their Robotaxi vehicle platform, would they? One described the next generation vehicle project as an effort to wring cost reductions out of components and production methods, then apply those innovations to cheaper iterations of the Model Y and the Model 3, the company's two most popular EVs. Teams are placing particular emphasis on bringing these cost savings to bear with the Model Y, the best-selling vehicle in the world last year, and spoiler alert, likely this year and next year as well. Now, some people seem a little bit surprised at this rumour. Not sure why. Let's think about this. If Tesla's developed a new modular manufacturing system to massively drive costs out of producing vehicles at scale, why in the fuck would they not implement those cost savings into existing products if those existing products are at sufficient volume for the cost savings to be implemented for a net gain? In other words, you're probably not going to see a modular manufacturing system for the S or X because they're piss poor in terms of their volumes. It's not worth it. It's not worth the investment. But if the Model Y is already doing 1 million plus units per year, it's probably at 1.25 plus now. Of course, they're going to implement the stuff that they've developed in terms of a modular manufacturing system over time. But spoiler alert, that's likely to occur after they've begun producing vehicles on the next gen platform around that $25,000 price point. So in today's episode of Obvious Things Are Obvious, yes, there is a next gen vehicle platform. It will feature a dedicated Robotaxi and some other variations of vehicles as well. And Tesla will implement the stuff that they've learned on that platform, in particular on the Model Y, which is at sufficient scale for it to make sense for Tesla to invest an enormous amount up front to ultimately drive the cost to produce Model Y down much further. It is worth plugging my valuation model once again. I currently have an estimate for the long-term base price and the average price of Tesla's Model 3 and Y, plus their next-gen vehicle and the Cybertruck and everything actually. Different variations in the base case, the bull case, the bear case, and so on. But you will discover, if you look at this valuation model, it's at the bottom of each scenario, under the long-term assumptions, under all the numbers, that the base price I have for Model 3 and Model Y is substantially below the current entry-level price for these vehicles. Now, why would that be? I have assumed that Tesla will, in fact, continue to drive costs out of these vehicles as well. So yes, this is all going to happen. It is just a matter of time. If you think the average selling price on a Model Y is going to be $45,000 in 2033, please save whatever you're smoking. I would like some. And now, the most popular investor questions on Say, which will be answered in order by Tesla or question dodged in order by Tesla. I'm not sure how many they'll address, probably at least the top 5, if not maybe 7 or more. But let's run through these and I'll try to guess what Tesla's going to say. The most popular question, what is the status of the 4680? What is the current output pretty clear at this point, Tesla's no longer cell constrained, at least not for their vehicles. So 4680 does not appear to be a limiting factor here. I think the best we're going to hear about the current output is a snapshot of recent output somewhere over a short period of time and a reference to the increase in output over time. But truth be told, I don't really think this is a particularly valuable answer for us investors to know. What is the current status of Optimus? Are they currently performing any factory tasks? When do you expect to start mass production? Now, this is a great question. We have seen demos of Optimus, but we don't really know. Are these robots actually performing any tasks in factories yet? Are they still being trained? We do not know where this is at, so more insights equals better here. That said, I don't know if Tesla's going to want to spill the beans too much, given the fact that they're very likely to have an AI day this year and show a massive update there. As for when Tesla expects to start mass production, I have my own thoughts on this. Check out the link in the pinned comment to join Patreon at the investor level and above and have a look at my valuation model. You will see my estimates. But in either case, I don't think it's that far away. Maybe a couple of years at most. One of the key reasons here is that Tesla's been able to transplant the brain of their vehicles, so to speak, into Optimus. So they've got a huge head start. And another important factor, Tesla will be their own first customer, even if the initial builds of Optimus are almost useless, but not quite. Once they're no longer a net drag on productivity, they can contribute in some way. The only real cost is energy, which is going to be almost nothing. So the bar for what's acceptable in terms of performance is quite low. Furthermore, unlike vehicles, which are multi-thousand-pound death machines on wheels, potentially if something goes wrong, these things weigh less than most of your girlfriends do. If they fuck up, they might make a bit of a mess, be annoying, but it's extremely unlikely they're going to cause fatalities, serious injuries, or permanent disabilities. This means Tesla can take a much more aggressive approach. They don't need to be so cautious because the stakes are nowhere near as high as they are with autonomous vehicles. And the beauty of Tesla being their own first customer is once they've got Optimus, being able to meaningfully contribute labor in a factory setting, first an automotive factory, suddenly every other company on the planet that has a factory that produces things that are comparable to what Tesla's doing is already going to be an eligible customer. Shout out to the UAW, its psychopathic leader, Sean Fain, extremely corrupt big guy, also known as Joe Biden, and the deeply ill-informed UAW members who are extremely supportive of making unreasonable demands in terms of their total compensation of their employers, because these DMFs are going to end out of jobs very fucking fast. When companies like Ford, General Motors, VW, Toyota, you name it, doesn't matter who, and I'm not just referring to UAW members, but everyone now universally in the automotive industry, there are going to be huge disruptions and mass layoffs of humans being replaced by humanoid robots, first in factory settings. As soon as Tesla's Optimus bots are providing useful labor in their own factories, providing a positive return on investment, they potentially have many hundreds of thousands, actually millions of Optimus bot sales that will begin flowing through. Not all at once, but bro, money talks in business. If an Optimus bot, rather than being compensated to the tune of 6 figures a year, can be purchased for well under that amount, and the software, call it a few $100s a month, doesn't really matter what the price is, it's recurring revenue, huge profits for Tesla. But from the business's point of view, who's actually purchasing the Optimus bot, when these things more than pay for themselves over a reasonable period of time, demand for these is going to be close to infinite. Labor costs account for a significant portion of the total cost of producing vehicles. And that's not where this is going to end. Tesla will continue to increasingly add capabilities for Optimus bots over time. And you guys may have seen a demonstration where an Optimus was being remotely controlled by a Tesla operator, folding laundry. Even if the AI is not there yet in terms of capabilities, just imagine this hypothetically. Imagine you're a busy professional, a couple, you got children, you're under a lot of time pressure, you spend too much time doing housework, cleaning, cooking, folding laundry, etc. Just imagine this. Imagine you buy a Tesla Optimus bot and then have a remote operator who's operating this bot somewhere else where the cost of living is not so high and the expectations for income per hour, per year, not so high. You could, in theory, have an offshore Optimus operator for the fraction of the cost of hiring a nanny or a housekeeper or a cook locally, free up a huge amount of time. And guess what? If such a scenario were to occur, while this bot is being operated remotely, it's training and it's learning. You understand? This is just like having Tesla drivers in their vehicles, monitoring, intervening when FSD is active and not, right? The same shit's going to happen with these Optimus bots, in my opinion. Not only will they be sold to customers with some basic functionality first in factory and warehouse settings, but that will increasingly widen to just about every task you can imagine. But while this is happening, there's also going to be a separate set of Optimus bots, the same hardware, that are being sold to customers with the intent of being operated remotely. An enormous amount of training data at scale. Tesla's got to be wanting to build these things as fast as they possibly can. So that was a very, very, very long way of saying, I suggest what we'll hear from Tesla is that Optimus production is going to be happening within a few years. And most people are going to laugh at that idea, ignore it, pretend it's not happening, call it a stock pump, and continue trimming their Tesla positions. What is Tesla's current assessment of the pathway toward regulatory approval for unsupervised FSD in the US? And how should we think about the appropriate safety threshold compared to human drivers? This is quite a good question. As I've said in the past, here's what's likely to happen. Tesla's already having many hundreds, if not thousands, of intervention-free drives in California right now, especially in the city of San Francisco. Tesla is collecting data on all of these drives. Tesla currently already has a mountain of data. Regulators listen to data. I don't think that Tesla getting regulatory approval is the major obstacle most people suspect. I think when Tesla themselves are confident that their vehicles are significantly safer, and I don't know the exact threshold to the second part of the question, but let's just say twice as safe. Now, you might argue it needs to be 10 times, maybe it only needs to be 5% more. I don't know. Who cares? Tesla's got to have an increasingly large mountain of data showing ever-increasing capability and safety. So whatever that threshold is, Tesla's going to be able to mount a bulletproof case to regulators. Here's the data for vehicles in this region. Look, the Teslas are twice as safe in all situations and scenarios as human drivers. You will have blood on your hands if you don't approve the operation of our robotaxis, at least in this region. My best guess is we're going to see pocket after pocket after pocket, different geographies in the United States initially, where Tesla, one after the other, very quickly gets approval for unsupervised FSD. Now, it's quite likely that initially Tesla will have human drivers supervising their initial robotaxis. Maybe I'm wrong, but I suspect the process goes as follows. Tesla gives regulators an absolute fuck ton of data. Look how safe these vehicles are. Twice as safe as humans. Please, we need approval. Thank you, bitches. Done. Tesla gets approval. Tesla then takes the extra step, being extra cautious and safe, of deploying the first 100, 500, 1,000 robotaxis in San Francisco. Pick your area. But they all have human drivers supervising just in case. And there's a sort of handover period where there are humans, even though they don't legally need supervision, there in the vehicles just in case. This is more for optics than anything else. And once Tesla has demonstrated through many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of miles, maybe even the first billion miles in this small pocket, at some point, the safeties continue to improve. Then Tesla themselves say, look, we've now proven to ourselves beyond a shadow of doubt, these things are enormously safe, significantly more so than humans. We don't need the human supervisors here. I think this is the same kind of rollout we're likely to see region after region after region. And I actually think that Tesla is going to be the more conservative party, not the regulators, when talking about approval here. Just remember, folks, robotaxis have legally been operating in a number of locations in the United States now for a few years. I would be curious, though. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys and girls think? How does this rollout happen? That's my best guess. And I won't be surprised if the first Tesla robotaxis are operating extremely likely in San Francisco sometime next year. Now, it is possible that happens even earlier. Could be later. If you want to see all of my estimates, again, check the link in the pinned comment to my Tesla valuation model where you find them. Just join Patreon at the investor level and above. And I do just, once again, want to remind people that autonomy is a literal deca-trillion, as in 10 plus trillion dollar opportunity. And I do believe that Tesla is on the cusp of solving this with an unassailable lead in a winner-takes-most market, which is exactly why I'm panicking and selling all my Tesla stock, because gross automotive margins and demand. Another question on robotaxis. Following Tesla's robotaxi unveil on 8/8, what is a realistic timeline for launching a revenue-generating robotaxi network? Now, of course, the boy who cried robotaxi will no doubt call himself out on this and say, I think it's probably going to be at this point, but I've been wrong in the past. But I think even in the most conservative scenario, it can't possibly, at least based on Tesla's own goals and estimates, it can't possibly be any later than about 2 years from now. If they're unveiling a robotaxi in terms of the vehicle, they'll be finalizing the production systems, then they'll be starting to ramp production, then they'll be producing them. Do the math. Another investor was asking for progress on the cheaper next generation vehicle. So a lot of people wanting to know about their new platform. Last we heard from Tesla, I think it was last earnings call, they'd almost finalized the production systems. So let's see if they now confirm they have finalized them. Another investor asking, can we make FSD transfer permanent? Now, look, I don't understand why this isn't a thing anyway. You buy the software, I would expect, as somebody who's paid for the software, that you should be able to transfer it. Now, I understand once autonomy is solved, things get a little bit whack. The value of this software could immediately 5, 10x or more overnight. So the caveat here, until FSD is fully delivered and level 5 autonomy, which I totally get, I think this is completely reasonable. I don't know why Tesla would not offer permanent FSD transfer, at least up until the point where that software can now enable robotaxis. Although, that being said, I think there's a pretty good chance once autonomy is solved, there's no longer going to be an upfront outright purchase option for FSD. I think instead, everyone is going to be moved onto a monthly subscription. And this one. Have any of the legacy automakers contacted Tesla about possibly licensing FSD in the future? Well, you already know at least one has, and spoiler alert, I am extremely confident. If it wasn't Ford certainly since then have contacted Tesla. And I'll take it a step further and say that Ford, who rumours recently surfaced, are in the early stages of developing their own dedicated autonomous vehicle, are hoping, remember, hope is not a strategy, but it's all Ford's got at the moment, hoping that Tesla FSD can actually save the company. How do I mean? Jim Farley gets on the phone. Yo, Elon, what's up, brother? Keep doing what you do, bro. So we're kind of dying here. We need a bit of help. We're thinking our only possible chance of surviving now is to rely on Ford loyal customers who just will never buy anything but a Ford and let our ICE vehicle business implode, spin out our EV business and actually just focus on transport as a service. So would it be cool if we can agree ahead of time that once you've solved autonomy and you've got approval and done all the hard work, we can license FSD and be producing vehicles with enough cameras in the right places that the software can run on our vehicles too, and then have a generous revenue split so we can actually make money selling FSD to our customers so that we don't go bankrupt? Elon says, well, yeah, I guess that's in line with our mission. It's better for you to not go bankrupt than for you to go bankrupt. So yes, we'll do that. And just finally, I did poll my audience on X quite recently, maybe 2 hours ago. When will the first Tesla paid trip in a Robotaxi take place? 15% voted for 2024. 44%, the majority, 2025, and almost 35%, 2026 or later. So if the wisdom of the crowd is anything to go by, this is a little art and a little science, it looks like expectations among deluded Tesla fanboys who happen to follow this guy on X, or at least vote on his polls, are leaning towards the second half of 2025. And hey, might not be that far off. Now, before I wrap up, a thought exercise. If in 2019 I'd polled people and said, when do you think that you'll be able to provide a text prompt to an AI that will be able to generate an image indistinguishable from a photograph, a Renaissance painting? What results might we have seen? What about the same time, 2019, I asked people, how long until we'll be able to have a conversation with a language-based AI that will seem coherent and indistinguishable from something generated by a human? What about text to video? I think you get the point. And if you don't, let me spell it out. The thing about progress with AI is that we seem to have these breakthrough moments, these hockey stick moments in terms of capabilities, where seemingly out of nowhere, suddenly, what people thought was decades or a century or more into the future happens. And not too much longer after that, in retrospect, apparently it seemed obvious to just about everyone. So what if autonomy has one of those hockey stick moments? As I record this, with the market closed, late April 2024, Tesla's current market capitalization is $460 billion. Tesla achieving 52-week lows and down almost 64% from its peak closing price back in 2021. Many short-term traders abandoning the stock. Good for them. I hope it pays off. Some lamenting if only they'd sold their entire position. And I mean, in fairness, if trading in and out of stocks is how you make your money, you didn't own Tesla stock the last couple of years, you'd have been better off. But my question is, 10, 15 years from now, how many people are going to be looking back to April 2024, lamenting, if only it had been obvious what was around the corner, if only we'd seen it come. How could anyone have known? I mean, it's not my fault, right? We couldn't have known. Nobody could have known. It was totally unpredictable. No one could have seen this coming. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. Certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 shit, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links at the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.